right, guys, welcome back to the C Morning Show, special Eid al-Fitr edition. Now, over 70,000 individuals are part of the Canadian Muslim community in Vancouver, and they celebrated it with much enthusiasm in the Great White North. But there is one person who particularly looks forward to celebrating his first Eid al-Fitr in Canada. He's Indonesia's newly appointed Consul General Hendra Halim. Let's find out more through the discussion he had with our correspondent in Canada, Adristya Chintia.
My first time Ramadan here in Vancouver, so there's a lot of things that going on in my mind. I mean, I have so many questions about how actually the Ramadan situation here in Vancouver, especially from the point of view of Indonesian diaspora here. So how's the mood, Pak?
Oh, well, since the beginning of Ramadan, I've been invited to many occasions, surprising me, because from Indonesian Muslim community here in Vancouver, I could say at the moment, actually, we have around 500 Muslim community based on our data. But if overall, actually, under our jurisdiction, because also the consulate also covered 3 or 4 provinces, the British Columbia, Alberta, and also the Yukon and Northwestern, I think there are more than, almost more than 1,000 Indonesian Muslim community here in west coast of Canada. And then beside, we also have some the Muslim organizations. There is like from BC, Indonesia Muslim Association, and also the Muslim community organization at Edmonton and Calgary as well. So they are very active. So almost every week, I think our Muslim brother and sister always host the Iftar Ramadan at their house. So that's why they always invited me. And along the way, also during the Ramadan, we have so many activities, not only about like Iftar or gathering, but also we have the Quran recitations. We also have the Islamic study group. So it's very lively to see, how our community growing very well in Vancouver or in Canada. So I'm very glad to see them all. And I could say, I don't feel like I miss Indonesia too much, because on daily or weekly basis, I've been invited to their house, and I can taste like Indonesian delicacies, which is very thoughtful for me to have such a great experience during my Ramadan. So speaking about the Indonesian diaspora as well, they are very looking forward to have something, within our community, either with the consulate or with their own community themselves. I think it's very interesting.
So what's our diaspora going to do in celebration of Eid?
Normally, I think the consulate organized the Eid prayer at the consulate, and we don't have any. We always put like equal treatment for any religion here in Vancouver, here in Canada. Both the Christian, we have the Christmas. Both Muslim, we have the Eid Mubarak or Eid Adha. Many occasions for other religions, religious community as well. So the consulate always opened the door for any religious community to celebrate, I think, their festival. So I think what diasporas, Indonesian diaspora is doing in Canada, in Vancouver itself, they're very looking forward after 2 years, almost 3 years, to have such festivals or gathering at the consulate, to have the Eid prayer at Halal Bil Halal, and many more. So I'm very happy to say that I think for this Eid Mubarak, inshallah, next week we are going to host the Eid prayer together at the consulate, and afterwards we let the community to celebrate, with their own community through Halal Bil Halal, or maybe to visit their friends or their colleagues. So
what's make it different with our Eid before last year?
The previous, during the pandemic, it's very hard for everyone, because everything is restricted. But of course, I think we always listen to their voice, because one of our role, the consulate itself, we would like to make sure that the negara hadir, that's what we call it, our motto. So negara hadir, negara melindungi. So that's why we always listen to their voice, because if they Even during the pandemic, we give them support as well. So, but for this year, I know that after this restriction lifted, so everybody looking forward about, I think, about get together. So it's very difficult, but of course it would be very special for many people because they're really looking forward about this event. And I could say as well, I think the number of Indonesian community in Vancouver or in west part of Canada is growing. And just like the Muslim community in Canada, I think one of the fastest growing religion community in Canada is that the Christians.
Is there any still special or specific recommendation for the consulate to our diaspora here regarding to the COVID-19?
Yeah, that's the thing I would like to say. What the consulates always encourage our community or Indonesian diaspora here. One is stay alert. Second one, stay in touch. Stay alert that I think someone, any person or any individual must be alert about their health, about the community, about their environment. And stay in touch, it means like, because any kind of difficult situation they are facing, the consulate is open for 24 hours, 7 days. They can come to the consulate, let's say, to ask for help. I would like to give an example, a good example. Since I think in the beginning of this year, I think we granted like test kit, antigen test for students for Indonesian diaspora. Actually, this is donated by the parents of the students who study in Vancouver. So beside the test kit, antigen test, we also give them, I think, the supplement, a vitamin, some, like Indomie, something like this. So that's the way the consulate get closer with Indonesian community, especially the students. So first, I think we ask them to get alert, to raise their awareness about their environment or their community. And the second one, then they need to stay in touch with the consulate. They need to report to us. They need to build a good communication because through our social media platform.
Now I would like to talk more about the bilateral relation between Indonesia and Canada, because we know that these two countries has been, managing their own bilateral relations since a long time ago. Yeah. So how's the relation right now?
Yeah, today, this year, I think we are celebrating the 70 years of bilateral relation, Indonesia and Canada. This is good year for us, for both sides, for both countries. And then I'm glad because, since I met here, I met several ministers or the government officials. Most of them, they give well acknowledgement about Indonesian community in Canada. However, I think both of us agree that the achievement of the relation is still below our potentials. So that's why we would like to encourage how to make this year, I think, our relation, Canada and Indonesia, to be more benefit for both people, our people, to be more, to be more visionary about for the next step of our relations. So that's why I think what I would like to say is, for the consulate itself, I think our main responsibility, priority at the moment is how to promote, for me, how to present modern Indonesia to Canada. I know that many Canadians know that Indonesia is a big country, but they still, on the top of their mind, they still feel that Indonesia is still like, not really modern, still like underdeveloped. So that's why this is my responsibility. This is one of my, priority, how to demonstrate the modern of Indonesia. How to do that? I think first, through the people-to-people connections. So in this part, I think I would like to, to empower our diaspora first, Indonesian community here.
Those were our correspondent in Canada, Adristya Chintia, with the newly appointed Consul General Hendra Halim.